The only time I'm on right now, art time, creativity time. So, benvenuti nella giungla dei graffiti. Questo è Impastore Rockstar, a podcast. We're gonna have something, you know what I'm saying? That's just podcast right now. Art, fashion, discourse. Art, fashion, photography, discourse. So, I was perusing through the socials today, and I was looking for, somebody to, what was going to be like some art that I was like, I felt like talking about. Or photography, art, fashion, photography. You know what I'm saying? Art, fashion, photography. So I found one for art and one for photography. And so I'm going to start with the art piece first. This is one of those, yeah. What do we even want to say? Like, this is one of those. You're going to have to watch the process video. He shows you the process of painting. And so it's a Instagram reel. It starts off with a blank canvas. He says oil on canvas, oil on canvas. And so I didn't even watch the entire video. I know, like, there's a reason, you know what I'm saying? I know of what aesthetic style the finished product is going to be. And so that's why I kind of just jumped towards the end just to see what the finished picture was going to be like. I'm not even sure if he like looks at other, like, because he like, if you look at all his other works, they, it's very similar concept, a boat in the water and sky. Like, that's pretty much all his pictures, a boat, a water, and sky. And so I already knew that that's what it was going to be, a boat, a water, and sky. It may be stormy, rainy. It may be, the boat may be closer, further away, this angle, that angle, I don't know. But I knew that I was going to do that. So I just kind of winded it back just a little bit just to see like what he's using. And so the caption said oil. And then I noticed he changed a couple brushes, whether it was that wide brush, it was like this wider brush, but of those brushes, like kind of, I'm not saying, they're not like fanned out, but it's like a wider brush, or just a bigger, wider brush. And he had a couple small ones. They are like loose bristles. Like, so for some, I have brushes in the tent, but some paint brushes are just for, like, for instance, like lines. I'm trying to, if you're not an artist and you don't understand like the different types of paint brushes, I'm trying to see how I can communicate to you what type of brushes he are using. How do you do this? How do we do this? How does an artist communicate to somebody who's not artistic? Fuck. What do we call those types of brushes? Because the brush isn't necessarily flat. It's I don't even know how to sit here and explain this to you. But there are certain brushes that you probably use for like details. So just think of like if you wanted to like get some like detail, it'd be like a point, with a pen or a pencil. the brushes he's using don't have a point. Okay, that's okay. That's one more shot. So if you're not an artist and you're not familiar with different types of brushes, like some brushes like come to a point. He's not using that type of brush. He's using brushes that are like fanned out. And now you can have some that are like flat, but his I'm trying to see here. They have multiple. They have like. Now I'm trying to just also just explain this part to you. So the paintbrush doesn't come to. It looks like a broom. Okay, fine. I'll say that. The paintbrush looks like a broom, and let me see if I can add something else here. Art, fashion, photography, discourse. Yeah, I'm gonna refrain from looking at art that I don't really much appreciate. Well, I mean, it leads to a balance of conversation, so I guess I can call it. But his art is art that I do appreciate. Now, there's something to say about so for instance, what I said that before he even finishes the painting, I already know what it's going to be of. So there is something as far as like consistency, branding, who you are and what you do. So that's a thing. The poll, discourse. It's just gonna be about the discourse. We're gonna keep it focused on discourse, conversation, art, fashion, photography, and so I only have two. I only have two to like really focus on for tonight. Okay. So hopefully you kind of understand the fact that he's not using brushes that come to a point. He's using brushes that are like shaped like a broom, you know. They give up that's the best way if you're not what you call it, right? It's a broom, so it has a lot of those bristles at the end, but rounded and not like flat or this anything. Anyway, because that just helps you just like once the paint is there, it's easier for it to like fan out and you really just like brush it and things.